My name is Joe. One of my favorite things to do is to travel for extended period of time in foreign countries. I traveled in Ecuador for some time this year. One of the things I did was volunteer for a conservation organization in a small indigenous town in the Andes Mountains north of Quito. The town is called Zuleta, and it's just a small mountain town where many of the inhabitants engage in kind of traditional practices that have been around in the Andes culture for many, many years. Lots of subsistence farming and kind of traditional lifestyles. They lived in small houses and cultivated the land they had, and they raised small amounts of livestock. And there are, of course, larger settlements as well, larger cities that had more diverse employment, but where we lived, Zuleta, was a very small village, a snapshot, I guess, of what things may have been like 100 years ago in more developed countries. Very traditional lifestyle. Sani Lodge is a resort in Ecuadorian Amazon that is operated by the Sani people, who are an indigenous culture that lives in the region, and they run a tourist operation to support their community. And we stayed there for 4 nights. We took a canoe from the Ecuadorian border town of Nuevo Rocafuerte into the Cayubeno Reserve with some local people from the Martinique group, I believe it's called, and but we also were accompanied by a very tiny guest, the smallest primate in the world actually, called the pygmy marmoset, who's a ridiculously cute little furry animal that likes to crawl all over your body and get tangled in your hair. It's a very fun ride. One thing that the Amazon River is very famous for are the river dolphins. There's actually 2 kinds of river dolphins. A gray dolphin, which is more closely related to typical dolphin, bottlenose dolphin, and then there's the most famous, the pink river dolphin, or boto as the locals call it. The region of the Amazon that we traveled through has a remarkable amount of bird diversity. Actually, at Sani Lodge, they've recorded over 500 different species at that lodge alone, so it's pretty incredible. There's some unique and characteristic species in the area. One of our favorites was the Oropendola, which is a very common bird, but quite remarkable in that they select one tree, it seems, and all the birds in the neighborhood build their nest in this one tree, and they're these hanging basket type of nests that have a small cavity in them. Yeah, we spent some time with the Sani community. They have a soccer pitch and a school for the children and kind of a town hall where they eat together or have celebrations. We got to go there, and it was actually a working day when the whole community came together, and we helped them to transport some large bags of sand. We had an opportunity to be tattooed in the Amazonas. The indigenous communities use tattoos in a lot of ways for whether you're going to war or getting married. There are different uses. So anyway, we went through the whole ceremony and got tattooed up, and only after the fact did we learn that they don't wash off for 7 days or so. So we got to wander the jungle for a week after with faded tattoos on our face and have people look at us pretty funny, but it was a cool experience. We used various means to travel from Ecuador to the Atlantic Ocean in Brazil. So we had a couple of different kinds of boats that we took. The most exciting and varied were the lanchas, which are large flat riverboats. We were stopping every hour to pick up more shipments of plantains for Iquitos, as well as various types of livestock, including very angry cattle, bulls especially. On these launches we took, there weren't many tourists, but there were lots of local people from the region, often with small children. And of course, as children are typically very curious, they find the gringos particularly exciting, and especially all our fancy devices that we're playing with, our phones and computers and cameras and that sort of thing. So we made quick friends with them. One of the things we encountered that we weren't entirely comfortable with were wild animals that had been plucked out of the forest and were being taken on the lancha down to the big city Iquitos to be sold into the pet trade. The saddest situation we saw was a very young ocelot or small cat that was on our boat. The mouth of the Amazon, where passenger ship travel increases, there are these kids that race their canoes right up to the boats, tie up, board the boats, and then walk around asking for food and money or other handouts. And when they're done, they'll just hop off and catch a boat going the other direction back home.